So whereas it used to be that you would register to be a donor in order to give your organs for transplantation after you died, now the system is the government assumes that they will take them unless you've opted out of the system. And this comes into force today, 26th of March. When it was passed in the Parliament, only 3 MSPs voted against it. So basically every party was for it broadly. But in doing this, the government has crossed a line. This is state overreach into personal autonomy. Now, what the MSPs generally do, they just look at the results. They think the ends justify the means, but they don't. Passing a law, taking ownership of your body, basically on death, is just not right. They don't understand the proper limits on the power of the state. To emphasise at this point, obviously, organ transplantation for medical purposes is a great thing. I won't be opting out of it. In fact, I've already opted into it. And it's amazing what doctors can do. I mean, a heart transplant, however do they manage to do that, keeping someone alive? It's quite amazing. So transplant, I think, is a good thing, but what the Scottish government's done is not right. Now, so transplantation's good, but there are 2 caveats. One is this. Now, when doctors want an organ for transplantation, they want it in ideal circumstances. So if you happen to have unfortunately been killed in a road accident, for example, by the time you're at the hospital, that's not really ideal. What they'd really like is to take it, immediately. Or better still, well, take it from someone who's brain dead, as they call it. Now, you can be brain dead with your heart beating, you're still breathing, and they might, for example, take out your heart for transplantation. So taking out your heart for transplantation will be what stops your heart beating and stops you from breathing. Even in some cases, these so-called dead bodies are given an anaesthetic before the organ is removed for transplantation. So then there's some serious issues to address about that. The other caveat with transplantation is in the future, what is probably going to start happening is this will play a part in sex change surgery. I mean, here's an article in a medical journal already speculating on the possibility of transplanting a uterus for a male to female transsexual. You maybe don't want to imagine this, but you can also imagine, let's say we've got a female to male transsexual who wants various appendages adding, and transplantation will be considered for that in the future. Again, it's not happening yet, but this is something we might want to be wary of in the future. Maybe being an organ donor, this is not really what you had in mind in your altruism. But here's the ultimate one, the speculation that sex change surgery in the future could involve basically like a head transplant or a body transplant. I'm not sure which one you call it. So anyway, that's another caveat as well. Now, on the Scottish Government's website explaining this new policy, they have a section about religions. Now, I don't really like the idea of the government explaining to religious believers what their religion teaches. It's a bit like when Stonewall produces leaflets explaining what Jesus really meant about sexuality. I'm not really so keen on that. But I clicked the link on Christianity, and it's got a link to a leaflet. And it quotes a bit from the Catechism of the Catholic Church. And it says, organ donation after death is a noble and meritorious act and is to be encouraged as an expression of generous solidarity. Right, here. Absolutely right. It then goes on to say, it is not morally acceptable if the donor or his proxy has not given explicit consent. So the leaflet that they're linking to from the Scottish Government's website explains that the Catholic Church thinks that the Scottish Government's policy is not morally acceptable. I'd imagine the people who linked that to the website, maybe they just didn't read it, they didn't put 2 and 2 together, they didn't really understand what it meant. I don't know. But anyway, so that's what they've done. So the Scottish Family Party, what do we want? We want an opt-in scheme, as it used to be up until yesterday, with wide participation. There's lots of ways of widening participation. It could be done through doctors' surgeries, even through other government administrative methods, census, electoral register. I mean, who knows? You just need to ask the people a question, get the tick in a box that they've consented to organ donation if that's what they want to do. And if they don't want to, that is fine. So I decided today to outline Scottish Family Party on the day that the state took ultimate ownership of your body. Thanks for watching.